want to talk about personal injuries and in particular brain injuries. So a brain injury is a subset of a personal injury. A personal injury could involve various ways that a person sustains an impairment or a disability. It could be a broken bone, it could be a injury to the back, to the neck, other orthopedic injuries. Now, a brain injury is, of course, a subset of personal injury, and it's a very significant type of a personal injury. So a brain injury would typically affect a person's cognition. In other words, the ability of a person to think. It could affect their memory, their ability to reason, could affect their personality, could give them headaches. So a head injury could result in frequent headaches, sensitivity to light. A brain injury is a very, very serious, perhaps the most significant type of injury that a person could sustain. It could affect every aspect of your life. Oftentimes, someone will sustain a brain injury, but the injury may not show on a diagnostic scan. So the most typical scans that we have are an MRI or a CT scan. The most typical way to diagnose a brain injury is to conduct a diagnostic imaging. Typically, a brain injury is diagnosed by way of various diagnostic imaging tests that could take the form of an MRI, could take the form of a CT scan, and sometimes the diagnostic imaging will not show an organic injury to the brain. Nevertheless, in those circumstances, it's important to use other diagnostic tools in order to determine whether or not the injured party has sustained a head injury or a brain injury. And one way to do so would be to implement the services of a neuropsychologist. A neuropsychologist could perform psychometric tests, and these are standard tests that would be performed, and the person would be asked to answer many different questions to determine whether or not there's any deficits in terms of the person's ability to function. And that is an alternative way to determine whether someone has sustained a brain injury or a head injury, notwithstanding the fact that there may be no evidence of an organic cause that shows up on the diagnostic tests.